Bill, I now have two of this.
Okay, great. Yeah, there's some extra.
We sent that earlier this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't print it out. Ready? Okay, and you're all set? All right. All right, so the tape is rolling. Welcome everyone to the Ulster County Resource Recovery Agency special meeting for July 9th, 2026. Roll call, James Gordon here, Donna Egan.
Present.
Erica Brown.
Here.
Mike Baden.
Here.
And Chris Hurlbert.
Here.
Agency staff, Mark Ryder.
Here.
Timothy McGrath is excused, and Angelina is excused because it's a special meeting. Tim Wiedemann.
Here.
And Nancy Lamb.
Here.
Okay. So the agenda tonight, since you don't have a copy of it, I'll just read it out loud. Discussion of the global NRG project, and then an executive session afterwards. So anyone want to add anything or change the agenda at all? If not, I'll accept the motion.
Make a motion to accept the agenda as written. Second.
All righty, all in favor of accepting the agenda as put forward?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, with that, Mark?
All right. So when I had originally asked the chair to put together this special meeting, the idea was to ask the board for direction in each of the 5 options that I'm going to lay out for you. A couple of things have changed, and so I'm not going to ask for direction at this time, and this is for information purposes. The main thing that changed is on Tuesday of this week, we were notified by the Department of Energy that we were awarded a type of grant. They are providing us free technical assistance to work on this project. So a couple months ago, Tim submitted an application to an RFA, and basically the Department of Energy has a solid waste and alternative feedstock division. They are providing us, they're going to review the proposals, the options, provide, look at feasibility, look at assist with the decision-making process. They'll help with contract review, and finally help us look for additional funding sources. So we're actually probably going to pause the project at this point because the kickoff for that is not scheduled yet and won't be scheduled until about September. So we're going to go through that process. I think that having experts weigh in on this is more beneficial than us trying to rush this project. And so there's lots of different iterations that this project could go in, which I'll lay out next, just again for informational purposes. But yeah, so this meeting's a little different than what was first considered. So essentially with the global energy project, we have 5 options. One is that we could rescind the award and continue on and business as usual, although we would also continue on zero waste. But our blended rate for 26 is about 103 a ton is what it costs, not including fuel, because we have a fuel surcharge. That's our transportation and disposal costs of MSW. In the contract rates, we're seeing 5% increases. And if you look at CPI for waste disposal specifically, not just all solid waste, it's about 5% is what they're anticipating in future years. So if we were to do that option, again, by 2029, which would be the first year of this project, we'd be looking at $113 per ton, doing kind of business as usual. And it gets up to about $288 a ton in year 20. And so that's like a $370 million cost. The second option, and that is not one that I would recommend you move forward with, but I'm just laying out all 5 options. The second option would be to move forward with global NRG with the anaerobic digestion included in the project. they have confirmed that 100,000 ton facility would start at $145 a ton. And by year 9 would be down towards 125 a ton. So there's still open questions on whether that then starts. So 145 a ton with CPI added on, which for this specific CPI, we're looking at 3.8% when we're projecting out costs. So for the first 8 years, it would start at 145, it would raise by 3.8% every year. At year 9 and onward, it would jump down to 125 and then likely increase by CPI, but that's still an open question because it's not clear from their proposal and we've asked and have not received an answer yet. That changes things dramatically. If it were to stay at 125 a ton, that would be a different, even at the 3.8, it only gets up to $188 a ton. So at year 8, it would be 188 a ton. In year 20, because it jumps back down to 125 at year 9, it would also be 188 a ton. That's somewhere around $317 million in projected costs. So roughly $60 million savings. The next two options are both working with Global Energy, doing the diversion, but not having the anaerobic digestion. The first option is having them build a facility for 100,000 tons, which is our current need. That would be $125 a ton. And again, I have a confidential memo that goes into more of this that I'll provide to the board afterwards, so take notes if you want, but you will have this information. Starts at 125 a ton and then works upwards for CPI, which is that 3.8%. By year 20, it gets up to, I think, in the 200s. I haven't written in my memo, but that's about a $337 million cost to the agency. If we were to allow them to build a facility that would have a capacity of 150,000 tons, which would mean it would be their responsibility to find 50,000 tons elsewhere, which would work in a regional solution. So ideally, they would contract with a neighboring county to bring in some of their waste. That neighboring county would agree to develop a landfill in their boundaries, and then all of the residuals would go there, and they would be able to divert their waste. That would be $95 a ton at year 1 and then go up by 3.8%. So the 20-year cost of that option is $270 million, about $100 million saving on the line. One of the things that happened within the last week that has also delayed things was we met with Global Energy, and in their original proposal, the agency was responsible for the residual waste. So they commit to being able to divert 65%. That's their minimum. They think it could go up to 70 or higher. That 35,000 tons of MSW was going to be the responsibility of the agency. At our current proposal and transportation costs, that's about a $3 million cost to the agency. So that was making this difficult from an economic perspective. $24 an additional ton of costs for us out of this. Last week, they confirmed that they are willing to take on those costs, which is considerable because it saves the agency a minimum $3 million a year. Yes.
Is it just prior to that commitment or that agreement with them? It's kind of like we were paying twice for that, right?
We would have
bond and then
for that 35,000, we
It's
would
like
have been
paying
paying twice.
Yeah, okay.
We would have been paying them whatever their tipping fee was, and then we would have been paying
Yeah.
to transport and dispose of the waste. That was making, that's why it's taken this long to get beyond kind of the due diligence process, is that was making it a very difficult project to move forward on. And so that, and like some of the economic situations that we are in currently, with tariffs and, the cost of them building things, with the way the federal government is treating alternative fuels in some ways and alternative waste practice management, it's been difficult to get investors to invest in anaerobic digestion, which means equity costs more. But that was really a game changer last week. So that's why I wanted to get this meeting together. And then we were providing the additional assistance to the Department of Energy. So,
Was that, I'm sorry,
go ahead.
okay, was that a written offer or is it?
We had it confirmed in email, and then
That's,
when the board decides which direction we're gonna go, everything will be written in
Okay.
then we'll move on
And
to
then-
contract negotiations.
Can I ask another question about that, for that grant? Will they review all proposals? Like, are we back to reviewing the original ones?
No.
Okay, they're just really focused on the
submitted-
last. this
We
one that we're
submitted a project to them.
For global energies, the evaluation of that system.
yes.
Yes.
And, is there a cost to us at all?
No,
Freebies.
that's why I kind of in quotation say grant, because they are awarding us free technicals.
Okay. And how long will that delay it? I mean, how long is it gonna take them? Is it like a 10-year evaluation or
No.
like?
It's 40 hours of total technical assistance by the National Renewable Energy Lab. Let's just be clear, this is a national laboratory. This is, very high bill.
40 hours.
40
Okay.
hours
It's not like
of technical
huge
assistance.
project. It's just helping us with. the
Exactly. So,
evaluation.
but it's world-class leading experts in this work. And so that has a substantial value, but I say 40 hours to just indicate, I don't think this is gonna
Okay,
be
yeah,
years,
so that's,
even months.
it sounds like a nice little adder for us. And then, so then we would, based on that evaluation, really anything can happen, but it wouldn't necessarily go out to bid again unless we, okay. Thank you.
So the fifth option would be to, move forward with the diversion project, but reach out to like the second proposer. If we were unhappy with global energy, the second proposer, their cost with AD was the same 125 a ton, that one of the options. So it's the same, it starts at 125 a ton and has the same CPI escalators. So really it is tied for second most expensive. And I think the benefit at the time and why they were second, and it was a close first and second, was they were taking on the additional residuals. But I think there was question on, how close they were to getting this project done, and they didn't have any commercially available projects up and running. And so, the reason the recommendations from the committee and the board awarded global energy is that everybody felt like they were the most likely to get this project over the finish line.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it was
So I think having what happened last week where global took on the residuals, that kind of offsets the need to look at that other.
So number 5, you're not considering anymore because.
I would not recommend 5, but I'm laying it out as an option.
And by secondary diversion, I'm sorry if I'm ignorant here, but that's the dirty MRF option, or is it I know it's not the digestion, I know that's kind of, but it's not really, is it a dirty MRF type that we're still looking at?
What is the secondary diversion? Is that the question?
The secondary diversion building or the second person in the diversion RFP? Sorry. What I just said was we could go,
What's the technology? I know that.
of the second
What's
proposer, it's
What's the
anaerobic,
front end?
it's still a dirty MRF.
Okay,
It's
that's what
still-
I'm asking. Is
Yeah.
it a dirty MRF?
It's a
Okay.
dirty MRF. It's reclaiming the recyclables
Mhm.
and sending everything else through thermal
Digestion.
hydrolysis.
Yeah, okay.
And then anaerobic digestion, but they had I believe a dry AD. Well, their end product is not renewable natural gas, it's bricks that can
Right,
be
that was it. We were afraid that they were gonna burn those.
Right.
Right.
Refuse to rec.
Yeah.
refuse derived fuel.
Which means burn.
So really, this is, I'm happy to now open for questions, but where a week ago I might have asked you, Monday, I would have asked you for a decision. I think this is just an update.
So when it's the one question, and we'll go around the board, but let me just, this assistance with decision-making process, do we have any idea like what that looks like in terms of practicality? Like, they meet with you guys, they meet with Tim, they meet with Charlie, or they meet, I mean, how does that work?
They would work with Tim and I, and then we would lay out these five, maybe we would just take option 5 off the table for them to review. And we would lay out the 4 different options and they would weigh in on recommendations like I would.
And how deeply will they go into the planning, you know, how deeply will they be able to go into it? In terms of, will they look at what we've been presented with?
Yes.
And then will they contact Global Energy, or will they look at some of the projects that they have going on and, you know?
Yeah, I think the biggest value is that this is the National Renewable Energy Lab. It's now known as the National Lab of the Rockies. And so they've worked with dozens or maybe hundreds of anaerobic digestion projects. And so they bring a deep technical expertise to help review technical specifications and then to think about things like pricing. In particular, you know, part of this project involves pricing for renewable natural gas and revenue projections that Global Energy is making on that front that feed into what the pricing is. And they can help us verify that, make sure that that seems sound so that we can come to a final negotiation on pricing.
And will they help analyze the greenhouse gas aspects of this that we're trying to?
I'm sure they can help with that. That's, you know, I think one of the biggest values is the technical expertise about this. And so I would see that in that, you know, bucket as well, looking at not just the greenhouse gas, but all the emissions profile of this project, which has been a hot button issue. And I think will be if we decide to move forward.
Is it 40 hours of meeting time or 40 hours?
Their review meetings are included in that.
I mean, if you ask a question and they go to find the question, is that time accounted
Yes.
for in those 40 hours?
Yes.
Everything that they do. So I think it's important that we come to them about meetings with a clear objective of
Yeah.
what we're looking at.
Mhm.
And then try to diminish the amount of time we're reaching out to them and saying, please add this, can you look at this? Like, this will give us time. It's a set, you know, they said late summer, early fall to schedule a kickoff meeting. So they're not in a rush for this, but
And then start to end on that, do they give you an idea of that?
they haven't.
Yeah.
6 weeks or whatever.
So when you say you want to put the project on hold for now, is that so we as the board, like what is going to happen? Should we as the board, you know, discuss this further at some point? Are you going to come with more recommendations and then we'll discuss that and then take that to them? Like what do you do?
Well, we're essentially extending our timeline, right? By having this technical assistance being provided. Whereas like, you know, without that technical assistance, I would feel like we were moving out of the due diligence phase and into the, you know, if we're working in on an option and then work on a contract. But since Tuesday, we were told we were awarded this assistance. When I say pause, I just mean whatever time it takes for them to provide a recommendation to the board after their review. And then again, like, I see this as helping the whole project team, not just helping the agency, because anywhere they can help find additional federal funding or grants or other things that will both reduce their costs, but also reduce our costs, and it'll help with feasibility in the future. If they identify something that they think is a projection that is realistic, then we can go back. They will go back with us to Global Energy and explain why, and we can refine that.
Yeah, this is great. It's like external value engineering, I guess, maybe, right? So it's very common in industry with huge dollar projects, which this is exactly. I mean, if we go down the wrong path, it's problematic. So this little support is help me feel more comfortable with the project, I'm going to say. If we, after 40 hours, need them some more, is there an opportunity to get more from them? Pay them?
Not explicit, but I would imagine that, you know, that's one of the things that'll probably be discussed in our kickoff call is, you know.
Do they just drop us after 40 hours?
Yeah, in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah. So on the fourth option that you're describing, where the agency in Ulster County would be responsible for 100,000 tons, but then NRG would go out and source another 50,000. Sounds great. I think the risk in my mind is what happens in the future when we can't get to 100,000 because we've been so effective in our zero waste mitigation. Are we then now competing with NRG to go to other communities to try to find the 50,000? I mean, I liked it, love the idea, but actually it'll become a risk.
Part of the conversation we've had with Global Energy is like, they may reach out if we ask them to reach out to a neighboring county, but there's also industrial waste that we don't handle. Depacking and other things that they're going to start with to try to get, I mean, their preference would be organics, right? That are coming from like hard to handle organics that require depacking and other things to make it viable.
Mm.
They will start there, and they'll start on other types of waste. The mixed MSW, if they need to get there, would be neighboring counties. Again, I think we would do it jointly with them. I think, you know, there is no neighboring county that has less than 50,000 tons of waste. And if they offer it at a competitive price, it may also be like, hey, we need a little bit, if we're allowing you to go to 150, we need a little flexibility on 100, right? So if you're able to go out and find a total of 150, whether it's 80 from us and 70 from somebody else, then we shouldn't be held to 100.
Yeah.
If they're able to make it up. I think that's conversations that we would have with them.
Yeah, important contractual language, obviously, when we get to that.
And it's important to remember that, like, you know, the feedstock that we're providing, which would be the organic fraction of mixed municipal solid waste, is not the most desirable feedstock for an anaerobic digester. I'm pretty confident that the reason they're willing to take on that 50,000 is because they expect to go find, you know, commercial pre-consumer food waste or agricultural waste or something like that that is a cleaner feedstock. So
Couple questions, but the second one feeds off the first. So this organization, I'm not really clear based on the name. Are they, you know, a not-for-profit, public government organization?
they're a federal government organization. They're one of the 5 or 7 national laboratories.
They're a division of the Department of Energy.
Okay. Thought I heard that, but then when you used the second name, I got confused.
They just renamed it.
Okay. Do
You
we,
can't have the word renewable energy in it.
do we have to negotiate a contract with them in return? I mean, I've heard we were awarded this grant.
Yeah, there will be.
So we have to have a contract with them to move forward?
They have some indicated
I'm
that.
sure they'll have
there's
some sort of award.
The MOA,
Yeah.
probably.
Okay, that's fine. And I think the question that I had is, you know, could we go beyond the 40 hours? But I think that was already asked and we don't really know that answer yet. So, I mean, I think it's great. Information like this is very helpful. So,
We kind of threw application, I haven't brought it up because we threw an application in at like the final hour and Tim did his wizardry and we were awarded it. I will say that the Hudson Valley Regional Council also submitted an application on a regional level and we haven't heard whether they were awarded. So they may be doing 2 different kind of work scopes, but one would help the other.
Yeah, so
So did we ask for 40 hours? Is that,
No, that's the.
that's the standard?
Yeah, that's the.
How's that our union doing with their patients?
They don't know the second part yet, like yeah, they don't know that we were awarded that technical assistance.
Do you think they'll,
I think they're okay.
Okay,
They've been okay. I don't know that they're gonna love another 2 to 3 months out, but they've been,
but if you present it as a way of streamlining the process itself, like if we have all this information up front that we can say the federal government has provided and we don't have to find it ourselves, that'll go a long way towards simplifying the secret process. So they, you know, so you can present it that way, that look, yeah, this is a bit of a delay here at the front, but it'll pay off in a shorter time frame, I think.
I think it will give credibility to the project that from a public stance that maybe some people didn't believe was there.
what's the name of the program that you applied to?
Oh, it's got a very long
I
name.
want to know.
I don't know it off the top of it.
I don't need to know it because you don't just like to.
So what, as a board, what should we do? Should we just wait and read your confidential memo when you send it out and then take this up at the July meeting?
I don't think there's anything to take up at the July meeting. That's what I'm saying. Like, there is no decision-making process until we do the work with the Lab of the Rockies and have a recommendation from them. And
Okay,
at that point, I would have them present something to the board with a recommendation. And
so that could be in the fall. I mean, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, at some point, the agreement would be, we would have
We'd have to approve the agreement.
Approve the agreement.
yeah, that is a step, but I mean, I think the initial step before the agreement is I want, you know, the advice of the board on which option we want to go through, because I may have a different perspective in my recommendations than is a comfort level of the board. The board may not want to entertain 150,000 tons, whereas I would look at it as yeah.
Yeah, so you,
So,
So you're thinking you're going to, so I'm a little confused. So if we're going to decide on a project that you want to bring to the energy, whatever they're called, to the feds, when do we start to weigh in on that?
No. Those four options will be presented. I think we could take option 5 off if I have the boards.
so you're gonna circulate a memo and then potentially at the July meeting, we will
What?
discuss that memo.
We could, but I would submit the 4 options.
So you would submit these 4 options that you've laid out tonight to the feds?
Oh, okay.
And they would review each option and make a recommendation.
Now, I
unless we
understand.
totally disagree with one of them, like you said, the 150. So,
Okay.
I mean, is so is this gonna be an agenda item for 2 weeks from now then?
I mean, I wasn't
No, it sounds
anticipating
like-
it to
the
be,
way you
but-
were first describing it, I was thinking we had to pick one of the 4.
But that's to
would be
evaluate,
what we do
yeah.
moving forward.
So
No, I
that-
think they should look at each of the options that are at least in the, I mean, I don't know that we need them to look at honestly options 1 or 5. Maybe that could be in August, because we're not gonna kick off with them before August. That could be an agenda item for August. Option 1, again, being kind of business as usual, and option 5 would be going to another vendor.
So there
I
would
think they
be
could look
possibly
at,
3.
look at 3, which would help
Reasonable.
with the 40 hours.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's.
Yeah, I think that's
Well-
reasonable.
Do you know how you're gonna prioritize?
What's that?
Do you know how you're gonna prioritize which one you bring first?
No, I would
They
bring all 3.
They would do that evaluation. You don't want to really influence them.
Right, I would
think
prefer
you would say,
that-
these are our choices, you tell us what you think.
Gotcha.
I mean, sort of.
So I think as a board, we can all agree though that we can eliminate the do nothing option number 1 and if the, go back to the second slide, number 5, go back to the second, company that, you know, came in second in our process, all right?
Because they're not gonna look at 2 proposals.
Right, yeah, so I think,
I would agree.
I think that's not unreasonable. Yeah.
okay,
Will they do, besides looking at it from a technical perspective, will they run a cost benefit analysis as well of each one of the options?
We will ask that.
Because they certainly probably know about costs that we may not be considering or thinking about.
They have some tools, you know,
Yeah.
they have some tools, they can just run it.
That's where
Yeah.
we thought.
Well, and like again, when they're looking at Global's projections on like, much are they getting for the renewable natural gas? They can look at that in the feasibility portion and say, they're projecting too high or they're projecting too low, which affects your pricing and like. It's not feasible because they, you know, double the price what others are getting for renewable energy, or, you know, you need to renegotiate pricing with them because they are underselling, you know. They will look at all that.
And hopefully the cost of getting through the seeker process, which I hate to say it is almost always double what people project. So
the time too.
You have the name of the
The
program.
name of the program is the Waste to Energy and Materials Technical Assistance for State, Local, and Tribal Governments. When,
How did you find it? Because this is wonderful news, but I mean.
We had initially seen it through, I get a Department of Energy newsletter.
Yeah.
And then also it was sent through HVRC. And we let HVRC know that we were gonna propose on, you know, apply on our own, but we also supported their application for.
and we actually requested that they submit one on behalf of the region too, and they agreed to do that. So
Great.
we haven't heard yet whether they got it, but it'd be great if they did too.
Board, have any other questions? Do you feel like you've got what you need to move forward?
I'm good.
Right?
Someone's car door is open.
Is it that black one right there? It's one closest to us?
Yeah.
That's mine.
Okay.
Okay.
And you know, sorry.
As long as there's things to be uptight about.
Okay, well then, having closed that, I will accept a motion to move into executive session for the purpose of discussing the employment history of an individual.
I'll make that motion.
All right,
I'll second it.
all right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So folks who are not on the board, please,
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, just.
Oh, no. Oh, I think I have to share this one.
Share. There you go.
All right.
We have three of us.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey, great.
Thank
You're
you,
adjourned.
everybody.
Thank you.
You second?
Yeah.
And the time was, we came out of the executive
8:26.
session at 8:20.
26. Then I will stop. You said to stop.
Turn the mic.
Yeah, you can just hit stop.
Hit stop streaming and then hit stop.
Yes.
Okay, thanks, bye.
Thank you. Yep, thank you.
Stop streaming on Teams.
Right.
Hit stop streaming on
How long do we?
Teams and then YouTube. Yeah, I know.
I didn't make it back for the end.
Nah, we had a quorum and we're like, that's good.
We didn't have.